Hello and welcome to Down the Slope, and it is our 100th episode. We've got a full house plus a couple. Look, Harry, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. How you doing?
I'm fucked, actually. I'm not going to lie. I've just played fives for the first time in about a year. I am done. Liam, how you doing, mate? I can see a couple of boxes behind you there.
Moving house on Thursday, so packing central. I'm just literally living in a room full of cardboard boxes. It's a fucking glamorous lifestyle I live.
Greg?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Yep, and we're joined by Alex. It's your second time on the podcast. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right. I didn't care if you'd ever invite me back.
It was tough, but we thought we needed a little bit of clout for the 100th episode. And we were also joined by Ryan, who has been a huge supporter of the podcast, I think, throughout. And well, both of you have been, and you have really been quite influential in helping us grow. How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. Good to be on as well, so thanks for having me.
Right. You have chose good games to come on and talk about. So what we're going to do is absolutely fucking not talk about them. Since we recorded last Monday, Hibs have scored 0 goals, conceded 0 goals, taken 2 points off the bottom two. Any further points to add from any of you, or shall we get into the good stuff?
Opera singer. You got an opera singer now.
What, right? Just actually, let's just go into that. Fuck it. Right. Tangent one of the evening. What did everyone make of the opera before? Well, Sunshine on Leaf before the game and the opera at halftime.
I'm going to jump in here and say, please don't be too harsh, because Kira Harvey, the girl that was singing, was my friend at high school, and I didn't know she was going to be singing there. And then the first thing I saw was her getting absolutely not befriended on Twitter, to put it nicely. I think she's got a cracking voice, but I don't think that Sunshine on Leaf should be singing that way, in my opinion.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was superb.
It's interesting because I didn't actually think Harry got a job with Hibs, but obviously Harry has introduced the first ever halftime show at Easter Road. His American sports influence is beginning to take its toll on the club, and I think I just heard a rumour. I don't want to be saying that this is fact, but I heard for the Dun United home game we've got Justin Timberlake and some other American person coming to
Jay-Z.
the halftime show. Yes, that's who it was. Exactly who it was, Jay-Z.
I like how you could think of one American and it was Justin Timberlake, and then of all the millions and billions of Americans, Alex like, Jay-Z, you'll partner with Justin Timberlake.
Mere worrying that his Liam's mind went fucking blank after naming one American. Ryan, just talk about it. That the opera at halftime, did you enjoy it? Obviously, I know you sat up with Liam at the top of the stand. Could you even hear it?
I'll be honest with you, I thought Easter Road would be the last place on earth I'd hear opera singing. No, couldn't hear a single thing. I think I could hear Liam's trying to sing the Irish national anthem, so that was a wee bit better.
That's true. I did actually break into Soldier's Song for a while, but it's not.
Hey, don't catch on.
Well, maybe it should be sung more frequently Easter Road, but who am I?
I agree with you fully.
Right, Liam, we have got a Guess Who, Americanized if you like. It's bigger, it's better, it's the 100th episode. Take it away, because Greg's not getting his say on opera because we'll be here all fucking night.
see, this is what I don't like, right? I come on this podcast and seem to get lambasted for stuff I've not even said. See, for me, right, it's something different. I don't really understand why folk are losing their shit. But yeah, the shoulders song sung by Liam would be good.
I'm
at the halftime next.
I'll put in a request to Pal Greg and see if he'll let me do the halftime show. I can maybe just come on and do some voices or something and try and keep people out for 15 minutes. Right, thank you, Ewan, for that lovely segue. But we're back. Guess who's back? It's bigger, it's better, and it's ever so slightly different than it's been before. So we've got 5 of you here tonight. So that's quite a big audience. So what I'm thinking we're going to do tonight is just play the game a wee bit differently. So I'm going to give clues about 10, not 5, 10 Hibs players. So we'll be here a wee while. And I'm going to go through all of those clues in sequence. You can jump in at any time and try and guess who the player is. But once you've guessed, you're out. I will continue to run through the clues, but I will not reveal whether or not the answer is correct after you've guessed. So you can guess,
I ask you a question,
but I'm not telling you who's got right. Go for it.
Is Harry allowed to join in this week?
Well, you tell us if we're wrong.
Harry's got special permission. No, I'm not telling you if you're wrong.
Right, okay,
That would narrow it down.
I
obviously-
was expecting the word permission after you said Harry's got special, but there we go.
Can I just say I play along with this in the car, and I am fucking shite at this. So it's, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm convinced that you've only asked me on so that I don't finish above Harry. You know?
Well, lads, let's get
I'm just
into it,
impressed
right?
that there's people still listening to that late in the fucking episodes.
Here we go. First player, first clue. I have played in my home country for Hibernian and in Serie A.
Liam Henderson.
I have 2 middle names.
Sorry then.
Oh, wait, no, he's played Serie B. Never mind.
Howler again.
I have a scoring record that equates to 1 goal every 5 games in league matches. I have played 2 positions, midfield and sweeper.
He's got a goal every 5 games.
Final clue.
Shut it, Specky, you're out.
I played 39 times for France, scoring 9 goals.
Frank Sozzi?
That was the last clue, so I'm going to reveal who's got it right. And Ian,
It's got to be right, aye. Like,
Frank Gaston Henri Sauzet.
get up every single fucking one.
I can't believe it took 5 clues to get Frank Sauzet, guys. Come on, eh?
Hold on,
Come on.
shite.
5
Wait, what
clues.
was the clue about the leagues? What was the clue about the leagues?
Home country, Hibs and Serie A. Yeah, Dick.
Oh, I didn't hear home country. I just said Hibs and Serie A.
Well,
Apologies.
When Liam Henderson still would have been wrong, you fanny.
Well,
Hey, no,
you got-
your attitude will be wrong in a second when I punch your head off the floor. Clown.
Right.
I would love to see that.
Sorry, back to Liam.
Okay. Second player. I've played 31 times for my country, scoring no goals. I started my career with Hibs, but finished it with another Scottish club. I am currently working in coaching in the Scottish Championship. I am 6 feet and 1 inch tall. I left Hibs to sign for the artist formerly known as Rangers in 2007.
Steve Whittaker.
Fifth and final clue, and you've got it again.
Ian Murray.
It's 2 to Ian.
Nice.
Oh,
Stephen
fucking
Whittaker.
man.
Is he in the coaching staff at Dunfermline, is he?
Yes, aye.
Yeah.
Assistant to John Yogi Shoes. Third player. Here we go. Time's motoring away. I finished my career with Iowa Athletic in 2004. I made 257 appearances for Hibs, scoring 30 goals. I'm currently working at the club. I left Hibs in 1996 to sign for Partick Thistle, where I made 49 appearances and scored 14 goals.
Gareth Evans.
Oh, fucking beat me to it.
I joined Hibs from Rotherham United when I made 63 appearances and scored 13 goals.
Callum Booth.
Any other guesses?
That's definitely Gareth Evans.
Yeah, it's Gareth Evans. Well done, Ewan. 3 in a row.
Yes,
Sick, man.
15 0. Jesus.
I know.
This is so fucking easy.
Okay, first clue of the fourth player. I am no longer popular amongst most Hibs fans.
Dre right.
Kevin Thompson, rat bastard.
Okay,
I'll give everyone a chance.
I left Hibs to sign for Rangers.
Right, just tell me if I got it or no.
I played in the League Cup final defeat by Livingston in 2004.
Definitely that rat. He's ticking all the boxes so far.
Willie Mackay was my agent.
Is another box ticked?
It must be Thompson, eh?
I was thinking Kevin Thompson, eh?
There's no point saying anything now.
And
I
I
want
was
to give it
stripped
the
of the
fifth clue.
captaincy on the 2nd of January 2007 and replaced by Rob Jones.
And
The answer
there
was-
is another box ticked.
Kevin Thompson. Well done. Greg.
Rat
Well done.
bastard.
Right.
Footballing legend.
Scum.
They get,
Scum.
they get more.
He wakes up in the morning, brushes his teeth, and tells himself he's going to get the Rangers job one day. I hate him. I absolutely despise him.
No, but it's all right. He's laddies play for Hibs. He's a Hibs fan through and
Aye.
through.
Aye. Some people think he should have got the Hibs job.
Wait, Harry's mate thought that actually.
Aye. Harry's best buddy thought
Harry's
that he
stalker.
should get the Hibs job.
Right,
All right,
we've
back to
taken
you.
enough names. We've taken enough names. Player number 5. I signed for Hibs in 2015, but left without actually making an appearance.
Ooh.
I have played for clubs in my home country, Scotland, obviously, Bulgaria, and this other fucking country that's I'm not checked. Oh, Greece.
Oh, you begin that, you map shagging fuck.
I've played
Have a
for
word
my
for him,
national
Ref.
team at under
Get him in the book.
21, under 19, under 18, and under 17 level. I finished my career at Aberdeen when I made 2 appearances.
And he didn't play for Hibs at all.
Is that the last clue?
No, one more clue. I was a goalkeeper.
Thomas Cherney.
Absolute sicko. He's got that one right as well.
Here we go.
Can I just say, with the way that Alex and Ryan are doing this is actually a very hard game, as they can attest to. So next time you think to yourself in your head, slag Harry for being crap at Guess Who, you know it's hard.
I don't know if it says.
Just come on and have a go.
I don't know if it says more about mine and Greg's lack of anything else that circles in our head other than fucking Hibs that we generally perform quite well at this. Maybe you have just normal.
I'm openly quite shite at this game. I tell Liam every
likewise.
time I see him at football as well.
Right, here we go. I started my youth career with Heart of Midlothian.
Ooh.
I went on to make 27 appearances for Hibs, scoring 0 league goals. I went on loan to a number of Scottish clubs, including the mighty Gala Fairydean Rovers. My first goal for the club, albeit not in the league, came against Inverness
Jamie
Caledonian Thistle. I left to sign
That's
for
just
Raith
what a punch
Rovers
you see
on
there.
a permanent basis in January 2002. It is, yes, it is. It's Jamie Gullen. Well done, you.
Got me just to say this one.
Right, here we go. Player number 7. Player number 7. I think this is a good one. I am another who is pretty unpopular with Hibs fans.
Could be any number of people, including some Hibs fans themselves.
I started my career with a club who are now defunct.
Came through Rangers.
The Rangers.
Since retiring, Since retiring as a player, I've worked predominantly as a coach, but also as an agent. I played 28 times for Scotland, scoring 4 goals. I left Hibs in 1997 to sign for Celtic.
Kenny Miller.
That's the
Shut
final
up,
clue, by
Harry.
the way.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
the
a
last
tough one. Like,
Yeah, had 5 clues.
Left Hibs in 97.
Started as a career that's now defunct. 28 games for Scotland, 4 goals. Worked as a coach and also an agent. Left Hibs to sign for Celtic. 1997.
I've not got a clue.
I've only got John
Johan
Collins on my head.
Mjällby. Did he even play for? No, Ulrik Larsson.
Nope.
Nah, it was before. That was
It's
2000.
pretty obvious if Ewan doesn't know the rest.
I'm going to give you one more clue. This will really help you. He was my first favourite Hibs player.
Goes on to Williams' Twitter.
I always thought that was Frank Sosie. Oh well.
Bit too late for me.
Nah, he's an old man, Ryan. Fucking hell.
some goal in the 6-2 game, though.
The moisturiser worked well for him there.
This
Oh,
has
well, I've had
absolutely
my guess,
stumped
innit?
me.
He went to Hearts. He went to Hearts after Celtic. That's why he's unpopular with Hibs fans.
Darren Jackson.
Correct,
Oh,
Alex.
hey, we got
What
a guess
a
on the
shout.
board.
Off the board.
Got a
He's
guess
off
on
the
the
board.
board.
He's off the
Yeah.
Point
board.
on the board for the new
Oh,
boys.
Technically, I shouted John Collins out first, so I'll just
Would have heard that.
Claim it.
Okay. First clue. I am one of many players to come through at the illustrious Hutchison Vale Boys Club. I played for my country at under 18, under 19 and under 21 level.
Can I just get some clarity? See, when you do these clues, does that mean they weren't capped at full level? Or are you just only telling us some of it?
Why would I start giving away all the answers? Do you want me to tell you fucking his first name as well? Would that be helpful?
No, it's just cute.
Actually, what his mother's name is, and the maiden name, I know. The boy's trying to come
Inside
up with a
leg
quiz.
measurement.
Boy's doing his best here.
I've played in Scotland, in Ireland, and in the United States of America. I am a central midfielder.
Oh, I was about to spout something that was totally wrong.
Me too, Greg. It probably was the same.
Final clue.
Aye.
I share my surname with a famous former Hibs player. However, I am not related to him.
Stanton.
Sam Stanton.
Oh,
I think Greg got there just in time. And you're right, it is Sam
well,
Stanton.
just to maybe be devil's advocate, Greg didn't specify which Stanton.
Oh, shut up.
Come on, give me the point.
You know what, right? I will give Ryan the point, okay? There you go, Ryan. Have the point, son. Thanks for coming on. Ewan's a
Good man,
dick.
Greg. I've always liked
That's
you.
okay. That's okay, brother.
Right, here we go. Here we go. This one is our ninth player, second from the end. And listeners who have skipped all the way through the session, we're nearly done. Just stay with us. Okay.
and I'm winning.
This particular player started his career with Raith Rovers.
Sean Mackey.
I know that's my eyes lit
Make
up.
it Sean
I was like,
Mackey.
please be Sean Mackey.
Make it Sean Mackey. Please, I beg you. Just for Ewan's sake.
That
make
grin
it
on his
Sean
face,
Mackey.
it fucking is Sean Mackey.
Where is he playing now, Liam?
At one of
Raith
my
Rovers, perhaps?
no,
Hey, let him talk.
at one of my clubs, I replaced another ex-Hibs goalkeeper, Andrew McNeil.
At a different club, did you say that?
I've played for Raith Rovers and also for Elgin City.
I know who it is.
Well, you're out, Dick.
Correct, but I still know who it is. Dick.
In December 2015, I suffered a torn kidney, which kept me out of action for the rest of the season. I signed for Hibs on the 6th of July 2016, signing a 1-year contract.
Laidlaw.
And final clue, I made my first appearance for Hibs in the second leg of a Europa League qualifier against Bromby.
Shout.
Great shout.
Good shout.
Yeah,
Who got
well
that?
done, Ryan.
Great
Ryan
shout.
got it.
Ryan
Oh, Harry's back in last. Here we go.
See, just needed 1 point for his pal, and that settled him right down.
Harry is the
That
only
was it. The
person that's not
nerves went
scored.
away.
I didn't realise Laidlaw had been at like Elgin. I thought he'd just sort of been at Rafe before we signed him.
Right, here we go. First clue. I started my youth career with Fletcher Moss Rangers. I played for my national team at under 16, under 17, under 18 and under 20 level. Third clue. I was a member of the under 17 squad, which won the 2014 UEFA European Under 17 Football Championship.
And they still didn't even care where the fuck this cup was born.
That might be a clue, Ewan. Calm down, son.
Came through the system at Manchester United.
Dimitri Mitchell.
Next clue. I enjoyed 2 loan spells at Heart of Midlothian.
Dimitri Mitchell.
On the board, Greg. On the board.
Dimitri
That's
Mitchell.
my second point of the night. Would have been up
That's
to 3,
us.
but I'm such a nice guy.
That's us.
Don't
That
blow up
is-
myself.
That is the world's longest ever Guess Who quiz that we've just run through there. Hope you've stayed with us for that 10 or 15 minutes. We'll run through that. Well done to tonight's guest. Well done to everyone except Harry, who got points. Congratulations. You don't win a trophy, but what you do win is a little bit of pride. Well done.
Right. Well, Harry, we're just mute for 10 minutes, but we're about to bring something back that got mixed reviews, shall we say, last season. The Harry's very fucking loosely Hibee quiz is making its return for our 100th episode. We're bringing back all the quotation marks classics. Take us away, Chief.
Well, first of all, you're starting on -3 points for that absolute lambasting of the Harry Hibee quiz. If
I
you're
have
unfamiliar,
missed the minus points.
Fucking forgot about them.
of course. If you're unfamiliar with the Harry Hibee quiz, essentially it is me thinking of random questions and then somehow involving Hibs in them. Points can be given and taken away as I see fit because I am the host and I am Harry. I get to decide how it goes. Tonight we have got 5 guests, so you're going to have to remember your own scores. At the moment, everybody's on 0. You're on -4 because I've decided to take another point off you because you're a prick. But I thought because it's our 100th episode, I'll try and keep it within the time frame. You know, there's been a lot going on in the world since we started this podcast, so I thought we'll try and keep it in the same time frame, see how we get on. So, question number 1. If we had to go through another pandemic and there was a lockdown of a 6-month period, and you could take 1 current Hibs player, 1 former Hibs player, and 1 member of management that's ever managed a club, who would your 3 people be? We'll come to, if anybody wants to jump in, you can jump in. Otherwise, I'll just pick. Liam, you're looking quite smug, so Liam, you can jump in first. 1 current player, 1 former player, and 1 manager.
And do what with them?
Just stay in lockdown with them for a full
Oh,
6
right,
month
stay in
lockdown.
lockdown.
Well, in
Yeah.
a house.
Aye, so you're locked in a house with them, and it's like you're kind of at the start of COVID when everybody
right.
was actually scared to leave the house.
Right, so
Full blown
you're living in a house
lockdown,
with
right?
them.
Okay.
Aye, full blown
Aye.
lockdown. You're pretty much stuck with them for 6 months without getting a break for them.
Right. I would say from the current squad, Jake Doyle-Hayes, because the music would be good.
Yes.
David Gray, just because he's a legend. Just look at him. And I don't know, maybe Derek Riordan, because he's a bit of a mad bastard. Be
I like what he's done
good,
there.
good
Because
sesh.
he's taken David Gray as the coach. That's clever.
Clever. We
There
respect
we
that,
go.
Ryan. Ryan, you're already on a bonus point, but people are it's going to be difficult to beat that, to be fair. So, Ryan, you're on one already. Right, Greg, we'll come to you next.
Current squad.
Do you know, maybe the Harry's Hibee quiz flopped because it was just being Greg getting the answers and it wasn't actually the quiz.
Current squad, Chris Cadden. He's a nice guy. He would get you fit as well. I could do getting into a decent shape. There isn't round. Management, Zudas, because he just has such an interesting time in football, and I think you would never get bored of the stories. And an ex-player, Gary O'Connor, just because he's a fucking madman. And I reckon you could have some lockdown gaffes with him.
Well, so far I know a house that I certainly want to avoid for my lockdown period. Alex, you're chirping away. Who are you thinking?
I've got Darren McGregor for the current squad because you could just like look at him and that. I've got John Hughes as a manager and the stories that come with him that he tells. Remember, he was on the Hibs TV that one time or two times. I could have listened to him all day. And Dirk Lehmann, because he'll probably break the rules and bring some girls round.
Oh, all right. Well, you're definitely getting a bonus point so far. That was some good answering, to be fair. Liam, who are you thinking?
So, in terms of the coaching staff, I'm going to go with Steve Dean because I'm hoping he's still got a relationship with the Venkies and he'll be able to get us some free chicken so we won't starve. In terms of the current playing squad, I had to think long and hard about this because there's no really any kind of standout characters. But I think just Lewis Stevenson, because he's just dependable. Like, he'd be there. He'd definitely last the 6 months as well because he's durable as fuck. And let's be honest, he's still going to be alive in about 100 years' time. He's probably still going to be slotting in at left back. So go with Lewis Stevenson. And then ex-players, I've twisted that one slightly because I want something to go with my chicken. So I want Bobby Williamson to be there because I've heard he's really good at a good round of toast on. I don't know if any of you have seen the interview. His office just always used to smell of toast all the time. So I'm going to have toast and chicken for my dinner every night.
You know, I do appreciate reliability, so you're going to get a bonus point for that as well. Good job, Liam. Ewan, we're coming to you. You're already on -4. Can you bring it back at all?
I'm worried here. Current squad, I would have to say, I can't even think of anyone. Everyone's injured. Who played at the weekend? That's not been taken. Kevin Dabrowski, who seems like a bit of a madman. I would take for manager. I was thinking John Hughes, along that sort of the stories and stuff, but I'll go coaching staff, Tony Mowbray, just because teenage kicks would be playing every day. And then ex-player, I'll go with Martin Boyle because he would just be jumping over hedges and that. Keep you entertained for 6 months.
All right, well, so I'll break it down. I like thinking behind Boyle. We had Jake Dorhayes on the podcast and he said that the person he would most hate to be stuck on a desert island with would be Kevin Dabrowski. So that was a terrible answer. And Tony Mowbray, as much as he'd done a good job at Hibs,
am I the only one that's getting brought down like that?
Well, you keep bringing down the quiz, so of course you're getting brought down. That's another minus point.
Harry,
so you're on -5. Yep. So going into that round, we got some very good answers. I think the highlight answers were definitely Liam, Alex, and Ryan's. No offense, Greg, but just because
this quiz flopped because our answers were shite.
Just because it made me laugh a bit more. I'm going to give it to Alex for this round. So Alex, you're nearly 2-1-1-1-0. Sorry, -5. But yes. So moving on, some places were opening up, some countries were opening up. We could travel to the ones that were green on the list, and then other ones were yellow, some other ones were red. And unfortunately, the SPFL they've had a blunder. The Cinch has had a blunder, and Scottish football is going to have to relocate to another country. What country is the Cinch going to play its 2022-2023 season in?
Easy for me. Australia. We don't need to change the dates. You still get Christmas football, but you're going with your shorts on and the specs on. I seen Alex up in the stand looking rather suave with the specs on Saturday. I admired that. I actually from a distance seen that Liam had a pair of specs on that big fucking cliff and all. So we obviously all enjoyed ourselves. I had mine with me at the weekend. So Australia, the dates don't need to change, just and it'll be one.
Yeah,
Ireland, take it back to where it started.
I approve. Back to Hibernia.
I was going to say the same, but I'll need to think of somewhere a bit warmer.
I've got Mexico because you get the best fucking garlic lobster I've ever had in my life, and you got to go on jeep safaris and that, and then you can play football.
Sure, there's no other reasons.
Oh, nice and hot.
I'm going to say Turkey so we can get some of the mad ultras involved, man. They're crazy, yeah?
Mental.
Can
You
you
just got a bit of
imagine?
Stevie Mellon back in our
Back
lives,
down.
don't you?
Ian Gordon would follow you there, I know. He's desperate for a European time with Galatasaray.
That'd be crazy. That'd be brilliant. Players every weekend, eh?
I'm going to say fucking Canada, and like right in the very northern point of Canada, because I think we're not having a lot of success on grass now. So maybe if we played on ice, we'd have more luck. And maybe if the goals were made out of igloos instead of goals, and we got to play with hockey sticks instead of.
I feel like you've opened up a really good answer here.
Instead of
Melkerson's only
we just changed the
grass,
sport
man.
to ice hockey, and we might win. And
See,
we
to
can
be
change our
fair,
name.
Liam only wants to
Hibernian
go there
Racers.
so he can wear his Arsene Wenger jacket and his Timby boots every week.
That was what Ryan said there about Melkerson. It was the first thing that came to my mind. I know Greg's not answered, but I'm not letting him have it. Just go to Norway and Melkerson will be able to play every week on the 3G.
Absolutely.
I have answered. Thanks for listening.
Oh, sorry.
Harry, come on.
All right, well, I like to
Get him in the
justify
book.
myself. Hey, mate, he's already on -6 points. I took another one off him without telling him.
In the book.
Aye, in the book, don't worry. Liam, I like the fact, you know that office meme where it's like, I just kind of start a sentence and just hope it ends up somewhere good. That was exactly what you've done. I'll pick Canada. Alex, I like the Mexico shout in terms of the food, based off recent events. Not sure about Mexico, to be honest, but we'll move on from that soft subject. And Greg, we're going to have to give it to you. I would love to see a bit of Hibernian over in Hibernia. I think that'd be a nice, lovely touch. So, if we still had Martin Boyle, I would have said, yeah, fair enough, Australia. But I think that was you were a bit sensitive. You were a bit insensitive, sorry, to the fact that Martin Boyle's left and he's kind of left a wound behind. So you're getting a minus point. You're on -7. Aye, so the scores as it stands, Greg, you are on. So we've got 2-2 with Alex and Greg, then we've got 1-1 with Liam and Ryan, and then we've got -7 for Ewan. Yes, so moving on. I've forgotten the next question.
Smash it, mate. Just remember, we didn't edit this. This goes out like this.
No, I can't.
Ref.
Right, well. Okay.
Another one.
Fucking book that cunt for being in the ref's face.
Right, shush. One thing I picked up whilst I was on my pandemic adventures, I started going out jogging. So you get a partner from Hibs, can be anyone related to Hibs in history that's got to motivate you to do your jogging every day. You can have him being, I don't know if you've done Couch to 5K before, but he can be your voice for when you're out jogging and stuff, being like, yeah, you're halfway there, keep going. Who would be your Hibs-related person to see you through that?
I'd go jogging with Bobby Williamson because he'd make me feel good about myself.
I'd say Alec Gogic because fuck him running behind you. I'd just run as fast as I could. Scary bastard.
I'll probably go for John Hughes because, man, he would leather you if he didn't do it.
Greg.
Jack Ross, because you know getting an easy time no matter how you're performing.
I'm trying. I was going somewhere, but I can't think of one. So I'm going to
jogging.
Oh, Harry, I do again. I had a train of thought and I couldn't think of one. My train of thought was who had a really annoying voice, and it would inspire me to finish as quickly as possible, so they'd shut up. But I can't think of someone, so just move on, mate.
I hope your bird's not listening.
You literally just pick any player.
I can't justify it though, mate. I can't justify it.
You don't have to justify it. Just pick a player.
Oh, fuck
You can't not partake.
James Scott, because he nearly crashed.
I know him though.
I give you every Hibs player in the history of time that all you have to do is go on a jog.
Too many options, mate. Too many options.
Good golly gosh. Ewan's not flying today.
I hate this game. That's why I cut it out at the end of last season.
That'll be that then. We'll go for one more question then. And all right, Alex, you got me thinking about food.
Who won that round?
Let me think of the answers. I liked Alex again though. Alex Gogic. That was quite fun.
Of course you would. You fucking Papa Shaggy's weirdo.
Of course, thank you very much. So final question.
You loved them.
Speaking of food, you have got to do Come Dine With Me with 3 Hibs players of your choice. And here's the twist. You got to tell us what menu you're cooking when they come around to your house. Everybody familiar with Come Dine With Me? I would hope so.
Yep. Current or former or what?
Anyone Hibs related ever.
Okay. Right. It's got to be Italian for me because I'm a fiend for Italian. Fill me up with pizza, pasta, cheese, tomato.
Cheese and tomato, strictly Italian.
but cheese and tomato, like that's what it is. Like it's not pasta and that. Like cheese, tomatoes, like that's what like cheese and tomatoes pretty much the base for everything Italian.
Bit of cathedral city.
No, but it pretty much is the base for fucking everything Italian. Right, no, I'm having someone else go.
All right, well, you've just got minus 10 points for that embarrassment of an answer. All right, someone else jump in. I want your guests and your meal.
I'm gonna have Sean Maloney around. I'll make him something off the kids menu, so I'll do him chicken nuggets and chips or something. I'll have the current coaching staff actually. I'll show Maloney around, chicken nuggets and chips for him, and everyone else can get a full size portion. So I'll get all the coaches round and show them how we should play football. That's what I'll do.
Mind get a colouring book and crayons as well, mate.
Do you know how you Come Dine With Me when you need to put the entertainment on? I'd just take Christian Doidge, Kevin Nisbet, and James Scott, and the entertainment would just be sitting down and watching the DVD 50 Goals Against Hearts just to remind them what it's like to score a fucking goal.
That would have been a good one.
Cheese and tomato for Italian.
Nisbet's out for the season, so I don't know why you're.
Well, he still needs to fucking remember.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Jason Cummins because I want him to be hanging off my chandelier by the end of the night. I say Pat McGinley because he's a hero. Who's the other one I would say? Anthony Stokes because he's from the 32 counties, and it would be Irish stew all night.
Oh, beautiful main starter and dessert. Oh,
you know it.
It's a lovely time.
Hope it's Guinness on tap, I know.
Free for all. Like one of those chocolate fountains with Guinness.
I'd have John McGinn round. Who else? Fucking hell. I'd be phoning a chippy in.
Nice.
And then for entertainment, remember what the Jackass guys done with that? They put everybody in the back of a Luton van and just drove round and round and had a disco, and I'd have that. So it'd be John McGinn, fucking two others. He said Pat McGinley. I don't know why he was in my head, but Darren Jackson, because we said him earlier, and he was my first favourite ever player. And Macalambe, because that'll be a fucking laugh.
Between Macalambe and John McGinn's arse, it's going to be a big fucking van.
I was as soon as you said John McGinn, I was hoping you were just going to go for every McGinn brother and sibling that's ever existed. Sounded like it.
Mrs. McGinn making the sausage sandwiches and John McGinn having a bowl of meatballs. There was your answer.
Absolutely perfect.
It's so much easier when you've given your answer. Everything comes rushing to your head.
Greg, anything from you?
Neil Lennon, Florian Camberry, and Kevin Thompson.
Is any
Lennon
name
can
in
take-
bare knuckle
Lennon
boxing by
can
any
take
chance?
Camberry and Hell in a Cell. Then I'll take Thompson, and we'll see who's standing at the end of the night.
Who's
What are you
that?
serving for
Who's
table?
Lennon? Who's that Lennon's just taken over? Where,
Omonia Nicosia.
Is that Cypriot?
aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Are they Europa League or Conference League?
Cypriot League, mate.
Good one.
Hey. All right. Well, at the end of that round, we're going to give points to Greg, Alex. Actually, you can all get a point. You even get a point back.
Oh, thanks,
But
mate. Minus
That
9.
means that our winner today, I don't even know how many points you got, but Alex, congratulations, you won the Harry Hibee quiz.
Yeah.
Hey. And we'll pass back to Ewan.
Campaign.
Right. So 100 episodes. I think Harry, me, you, Greg, we sat here and done, I don't know, 40, 50 before Liam. Nah, 30
35, 40.
before Liam joined, and then it was the 4 of us. And look, we've had some great times, which we'll come on to, but it wouldn't be Hibs if we hadn't been on here being miserable, moaning our eyes out, borderline tears if you want at some points. And Greg, you're going to, I think it's quite nasty that Harry assigned this task to you, Greg. I think it's just feeding the narrative. But you're going to take us on some of the lows, or what was it you called it, Harry?
Slippery slope.
Slippery slope. What's been the lows of the last 100 episodes, Greg, in the world of
So-
Hibs?
So I've got bullet points here, right? And we'll go through them one by one. And it's in no particular order.
Discussion points, eh?
The first one was a Hearts semi-final meltdown on Twitter. And
That
that
was
also brings me on to the next bullet point of Ewan deciding that down the slope wanted Jim Goodwin as manager.
See, I'd caveat it with that meltdown didn't come for another 2 months. It was the St Johnstone semi-final that came after.
Oh, well, I mean, the Hearts semi-final meltdown wasn't great either, to be honest. I mean, take your pick at the Hearts semi, St Johnstone semi, and the St Johnstone final.
Yeah, Ryan, where'd you land on the cups last season? What's your thoughts on that? And had you been in our position, what would you have been saying at the time?
Probably would have been crying, to be honest with you. There wouldn't have been many words. I think ultimately it was failure, especially against St Johnstone in the final. I mean, a team that played for set pieces for 90 minutes, can't break them down. It's disappointing, to say the least. That obviously is going to define Jack Ross's tenure in some respect, you know, the failure in the cups. So that's Hibs fans, that's what we want. We want cup wins, you know, and decent place league finishes. But yeah, ultimately for me, I'll always remember them for the loss against St Johnstone in the final.
Mm-hmm.
You know, undone by a set piece, terrible. But I would have been, I'd been crying my eyes out, mate, if I was in your position publicly.
I think we took a good 4 or 5 days after the final to record. To be fair,
Yeah, I think the chat was very, very quiet after it. To be fair, we were met the day after, and yeah, it wasn't good. I don't know. I mean, what were you doing on that day, Alex? Were you sitting in the house watching the game?
Oh, you've been to my Uncle Dougie's house before? I don't know, Ken.
I don't think so.
You know, I was there, and he had a big, massive gazebo set up, and it was fucking brilliant. He had drinks all set up and snacks and that. Huge telly, made a big, massive event about it, and then it was just shite after the full-time whistle. So, but by that point, loads of other folk had turned up, and we just got pissed. So, if I was on a podcast doing what you guys were doing at the time, I probably would have just deflection tactics, talked about anything else other than what we're just seeing.
Exactly what we're doing tonight. Alex, what one of the three did you say? I know obviously one was a final, but what one of the three surprised you the most or hurt the most at the 2 semi-finals and the final last year?
Probably the Hearts one, because I was sitting watching it with Jambos, and it was a strange thing. I've never watched a derby with Jambos ever before, but we were all away at a caravan park at Eyemouth, cousins and stuff, and decided to watch it together. So that was particularly shite because they were just jumping about and having a brilliant time. And then one of them, I said, "Are you confident?" And he went, "Aye." And it just fucked me over. I was like, "Oh, fuck you." So I'll not name him, but that's what he done.
But fuck you, Ben.
Fuck you, fuck you, Paul.
Liam, you weren't on the podcast for the two semi-finals. Where were you, what was your thoughts around them in terms of the disappointment? And I guess Ryan says about Jack Ross, like he's been out the door 2-3 months. Where are you landing on that?
So I think you all well know that I had a very opposing viewpoint to most of you about Jack Ross for the entirety of last season. I think in some respects it was justified, in other respects maybe not. I certainly wasn't champ at the bit for the likes of Robinson or Goodwin to get the job.
I would just like to say that was their pair. Right, not agree with Robinson and Goodwin.
But I do think ultimately this manager's like tenure so often defined by success in the big games, and ultimately the record in those games wasn't up to scratch. He did win one semi-final against Dundee United, provided us a very good day, but I'd probably argue that, to be fair, it was Melker Hallberg that provided us that day because he was fucking sensational in midfield. What a player.
Greg, how did it feel to see Melker Hallberg in the St Johnstone kit at the weekend at Curiosity?
I was sad because look what we've been left with, and the Swedish Prince is away. It's fucking heart and soul destroying. Me and Liam play as biggest fans in this podcast. Yeah.
You could have just ended that sentence as biggest fans, to be honest.
I don't know how Liam felt, but I was feeling particularly sad.
Took me probably about 20 minutes to work out what one he was on Saturday, and then I was really sad once I finally worked out what one he was.
He was the one that gave away a foul in the first 3 minutes, mate.
Players just look like ants for the back row, these stand eye.
Very much.
When you're this tall as well, my head's basically fucking somewhere on Lock End Avenue.
Next point, he got a lot on the podcast, so in the last year, but Graham Maffei, his performance on Hibs TV and then his performance in the transfer windows when Gary O'Connor rightly called him out. Yeah.
I think the Graham Maffei, Gary O'Connor, Hibs TV should be on the up the slope section. That was fucking fantastic. Gee, you talked to us about that performance from Maffei. I think me and Harry felt very, what's he supposed to do, but
I was annoyed that he didn't actually come out and give anyone his opinion, strong or weak. I felt like he could have definitely said something constructive or even just like, oh, look, it's not good enough, we should be doing this or that. But he just sat there like a mute and let Gary O'Connor swear about going into fucking Greg's and then have a pop at him when the ad break was on and you heard that. So, yeah, I wasn't impressed with him. He wasn't really a figure at Easter Road that I was ever enamoured by. I've used the word charlatan many a time to describe him. Charlatan, shite bag, you name it. I don't know if anyone else here has the same strong opinion as I do on Graham Maffei, but please pipe up if you do.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what you say. Utter shite bag.
Thank you.
I think Maffei's time at Hibs has to be, or doesn't have to be, but I think the first couple of years were good. I think he made a lot of good signings in the first couple of years, and then probably the season that got ended due to COVID, you could probably highlight some questions. Definitely in that January transfer window, we ended up bringing McNulty back in on loan, which was questionable at best. And yeah, I think it was a slippery slope from there. And but again, the summer after that in COVID, I don't think there was a Hibs fan out there that would say we didn't have a good sort of day when Dre Wright, Kevin Nisbet, and Alex Gogic signed. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and you would say that one of the three signings has worked out. But I think at the time we were all pretty chuffed with all three. And I think the Nisbet one was one that was pulled out of the bag. So I think he did do a lot of good things, but obviously the new regime have other ideas, and I think.
Can I just say something on Graham Maffey? I just like Graham Maffey went on long bangers, and he said his order for the chippy is a special fish supper, and I can't trust a man whose orders a special fish supper.
Alex, that's your area of expertise. Special fish. Special fish. Where does that rank on chippy orders?
If you're getting a fish for a chippy, you get a battered day. My mum gets a special fish, and fucking weirdo. It's her birthday today, so
happy birthday, Mum.
So I'm with you on that one, Liam.
What about Graham Maffey?
He didn't sign a centre half for about 100 years, so Harry wasn't happy with that year. To be fair.
Harry, you've been happy. You've been quiet as the happy clapper in this rather negative section. What are you saying about Graham Maffey's time?
I can fully understand the frustration towards the end of his tenure. As Greg said, I think the fact they didn't sign a centre back when we needed one for about 5 or 6 years was a bit ridiculous. But I don't have feelings.
Did you just say 5 or 6 years?
We need centre backs for ages, mate, and we've not got any. We got We got Adam Jackson at one point, and then he had like a 1.5 year cameo and got punted. So I know we needed a permanent fixture at centre back for I'd say a good 5 years, and we didn't get one. And Graham Maffey was obviously part of
that. He shouldered a lot of the blame, to be fair.
Right, Greg, hit us with more shite.
Right, sorry, Harry, but the Harry Hibee quiz was particularly shite, wasn't it?
Fair enough.
I think that it could go anywhere.
That's because you've just won it, right? So irrelevant opinion.
you could take it worldwide, the Harry's Hibee quiz.
Right.
Some of the questions, Harry, though, please thought process behind the questions.
I just tended to do my week-to-week stuff, and anything I saw in life, I would just kind of throw into the Harry Hibee quiz. I always thought it was quite fun. Never realised it was as broadly hated as it was.
I think it was really well received, to be fair. But do you know, surprisingly, right, as a podcast over the 100 or 99 episodes that we've done so far, we talk a lot of shit. A lot of shit. And we say a lot of stupid stuff that comes back and proves not to be relevant at all. We didn't get that much shite on Twitter. Really, we didn't. We didn't get that much shite on Twitter. Like, considering how fast folk are to rip utter shite out of folk on social media, we just about survive. But why
do you think that is? Why do you think people don't dig us up as much? I mean, there's been a couple of times, but
because Nick can't listen, that's why.
When we look at the figures and stuff like that come through and that, but what it doesn't show is how many cunts are clicking off after the intro music.
Guess who as well? Everyone's shite at that. That's what it is.
But no one's as shite as Harry at Guess Who.
True.
Evidently.
Any other lows, Greg?
A couple more. Livy at home and Ross County at home, double header after Christmas. Just how bad was that looking back? Liam, I'll come to you because you loved Jack Ross.
I don't think I was on the pod at that time. No, I definitely wasn't on the pod at that time. December. I found some of those episodes incredibly depressing and very hard to listen to. So for me to give you an honest assessment of what I thought at that point was, I probably got about 5 minutes in and thought, nah, this is too heavy for me. I'm going to go and listen to some Post Malone in a dark room with a couple of candles and a bag of fucking Doritos.
Bag of glue.
Sounds like standard practice for the days in between Christmas and New Year. That was grim. Let's be honest, that was grim. Yeah. And Liam, they are the episodes that are hard to record, especially when they were pumpings, and then we obviously got beat by Rangers as well. Ryan, do you think last year it was difficult, or even more difficult, to handle a pumping because you're not at the game, or do you think maybe even the opposite?
No, I would definitely say that it's probably harder to handle it. But it's harder to assess the game as well, to kind of see where things have gone wrong in your own mind, and to criticise, because we all love to criticise. So it's a wee bit different seeing things on the telly and not being there, and you can't air your opinion as much. You know, when you're at the ground, that's when you get all your frustrations out, and maybe it's not as bad after. Well, of course, it's terrible afterwards, but I think it was hellish not being able to go. It was the worst thing ever. So yeah, I definitely think it'd been harder for you guys to put stuff together, not being at the game.
It has been strange this season actually, like talking about the game, like being at the game. Like, I definitely took some adjusting to in the summer, like on the pre-season games and that. Alex, do you remember much from the Christmas period of the football last year?
No. It just became a TV show, just the Hibs games. Just like having the football was fine, but in reality, like the whole world was just fucked. Nobody knew what was going on, and I think like Hibs finishing third, St Johnstone winning their 2 cups, and Rangers winning the league. As far as I'm concerned, none of it happened because I wasn't there. So that's the way I've seen it. Just you could turn the telly off and go back to your house or whatever you were doing. So it was shite.
If you were to pick least to most likely out of the 3, had that been a normal season, what would you say would have been the most likely, the least likely of the 3 to happen? Of the 3 things that transpired, if we'd had full houses, which one do you think wouldn't have happened?
Oh, St Johnstone would never have won their cup double. No way.
I agree with that 100%.
Rangers were, I think they were, well, Celtic were just shite, so Rangers were going to win the league. And I can't even mind what else I've just said.
Hibs finished third.
Hibs finished third, I mean, that wasn't that unrealistic, was it? It was the best of the rest. That was the way it was. But we're not there to see it. Shite. Yeah. I think I've said shite about 100 times tonight. We'll just go for it since it's episode 100.
Aye.
Shite episode. Even the referee was at the under.
Hey Greg, what we got? One more negative?
Yeah, the thing up to more recent times, that the run just before Jack Ross got sacked. I can't remember how many wins or losses it was and how many games, but it
4
was
points out of 27.
Holy shit, man. That was like the worst period of my life.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to Post Malone in a dark room, candles, blades, and Doritos, where does that rank?
Adele in a dark room with candles and blades. I mean, personally, I was struggling at that point. You know that I was ready to jack this in. If I'm being honest, the football was really becoming a source of unhappiness, really. And talking it with you guys on a Monday night was
also a source of unhappiness.
Do you know, I think during what gave us during lockdown was even when Hibs got beat, it gave you the time to rant about it and talk to your pals about it. But we had that again on the Saturday night, so then rehashing it sometimes on the Monday night or the Thursday night, if it had been midweek, was almost like going through your breakup again. But no, that run of form was difficult, and ultimately, well, nobody ever wants a Hibs manager to get sacked. Nobody, like Jack Ross didn't get hired, and we were all sitting there in 2 years. We want him to get sacked. Greg, you were quite vocal in the fact that you thought he should have got the sack, but you'd also say you were quite vocal when we appointed him, and you were absolutely delighted with it. Like nobody wants that to be the end goal, but it was a long time coming as far as I was concerned, just on that run of form.
Harry, you're the resident happy clapper. What was your thoughts at that time? Did you expect us to get out of it? Did you want him out?
I always try and see Hibs in as positive a light as possible. And I think everybody has their breaking point when it comes to those types of runs of form, and it was Ross County away. For me, that was the dagger when we got beat 1-0, red card from Deutsch. It was just horrendous. There's genuinely not. There's a handful of times I've actually been angry at a football game, like genuinely, like full of rage. Like everybody gets like a bit angry at a ref, but I was genuinely furious after that game, and I don't really get like that with football. And that for me was when Jack Ross needed to go. I was just not happy with the club at all, and it's not a feeling I've had many times.
I think that Ross County game was worse because of the high we'd had on the Sunday.
I think potentially. And the fact it was just utterly pathetic. It was just a spineless performance from players that didn't want to play for the manager, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, Harry.
No worries, mate.
And that was most notable for me in his last game, Levy away. I know you and
Yeah.
were there, but
well, you were enjoying listening to us a couple of seats along that night, lad.
Watching Martin Boyle put the ball as high over the bar as he could that night. There was a lot of players that down tools as well, which is not acceptable at all. But he had to go after that. You could just see that nobody was playing for him. That was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was proper toxic that night as well. I felt like that was really, really toxic.
Well, at one point, I'm sure I heard you saying, "Why the fuck are you clapping?" And that was the players coming over to clap the away fans. So,
do you know what the worst part is? I would be annoyed if they didn't come over and clap as well. They could do no right in my eyes that night.
I'm pretty sure that night it was that shite bag Jack Ross went straight down the tunnel. And what the fuck are they clapping us for?
That's right.
That was just a night of rage, and then obviously shite bag Jim Murphy went off injured at half time or pretended to be injured. So yeah, I think everyone's probably sick of hearing me and Liam's opinion on that joker, but I will hand over to you and lift the mood a little bit.
Right.
Maybe we can turn the lights on and turn Adele off, but who knows?
But we'll try. Right, what we're going to do to celebrate all the good shit that's happened in the last 99 episodes, Down the Slope, and everything Hibs have done in that time frame. What I'm going to do with Ryan and Alex, because it wouldn't be fair with the boys the Harry, Greg, and Liam, I'm going to ask you to give me your top 3 episodes. With the boys, I'm going to ask for your top 3 Hibs games, because I wouldn't expect you to have top 3 Down the Slope episodes in your back pocket. Ryan, start us. So our first episode was on the back of the 4-1 win at Livy on the second game of last season, previewing a 0-0 game at home to Motherwell. So since then, what's been your top 3 Hibs games and why?
Right, so obviously the Rangers semi-final's got to be up there because it was carnage. Martin Boyle in the first half. I mean, you would never have predicted that. And obviously we were kind of in the middle of a sticky patch at that time as well. Yep. So it was good to get a lift in one of the cups, and ultimately it gave us a good day out. So that's got to be up there. I actually really enjoyed the first game of the season this season away to Motherwell.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was a cracker of a day. So me and my brother sitting on the wall outside Tesco's, he was scooping a few tinnies, sun was out, came back to win, scored the penalty. I just all fell into place that day. So I really enjoyed that one. I know it's just a normal league game, but
yep.
I enjoyed that. And kind of difficult because obviously with the lockdown now, didn't get too many games. But I don't know. I enjoyed the 0-0 at Tynecastle earlier this season, but I wouldn't say it would be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Hard to say, mate.
Come on, there's been a lot of fucking games played.
Was there any behind closed doors?
No, I will give you this one. St Johnstone away, one of Jack Ross's last games.
Yeah.
Purely because I ended up on the pitch jumping about with Josh Doyle and Kevin Nispet. That's the only reason.
And if you were to rank them 1, 2, 3, order that you gave us in?
Semi-final, Motherwell, St Johnstone.
Right. Alex, what about you?
Well, Ryan's just took 2 of mine, actually. I was going to say the Rangers semi because it was just fucking brilliant. The 0-0 at Hearts, the reason I liked that was because you're getting to go back to that was the first derby back, and it is. I came in didn't get many good results there, but I like going because when you do go, you get if you beat them, it's fucking excellent. And there was it's just being back, like knowing the football was back. That for me, that reason was why I liked it. And the first game on the telly, I think it was Kilmarnock at home. Aye. My mate, the Killie fan, he used my dad's season ticket login, and as a thank you, he dropped me off some pies for tonight. And then we were texting each other all day, watched the game, and we beat them. And I got it right up him and ate his pies. I watched that game on my phone outside a tattoo shop in Tenerife, getting the day we won the Scottish Cup tattooed on my wrist. There you
go. Sorry, just before we move on, Alex, can you confirm how many members of Down the Slope drunkenly hugged you at the Rangers game? Because I know I definitely did. I'm sure it might have been more than one.
I like that as well, to be fair.
Pretty sure it was all 4, to be honest. So it's all good.
I also gave your dad a hug that day as well.
That's sound.
No favouritism on this podcast.
I'm sure it was funny.
Right, boys, I don't want you to not be able to talk about Hibs as well, so quickly ping me through your top 3 games and your top 3 episodes as well. Harry, we'll come to you, mate.
I'll go games first. I'll try and vary them up. Alex, I'll remind you of a memory. I don't know if you'll remember it as well as I did, but the first time I actually saw you in the flesh was Dundee United away, and I went for a fist bump and you went for a handshake, and then we changed, and then I ended up shaking your fist, and it was one of the greatest and worst moments of my life. It was great because I met Alex fat as Prickus, and it was awful because I messed it up. The game that ensued, we got battered and somehow ended up being 3-0 up at halftime, and then we won 3-1. I thought that was very fun. I think it was actually the only game I watched in person with my dad during games behind closed doors. The 1-0 against Aberdeen away with the Deutsche Screamer. That was so much fun. And you already mentioned it, but the game against Livingston 4-1, I had such a nice day that day. I just remember it being such a great day.
That's great, Harry, but we asked for since we started the podcast, and that was before then.
Was it? I thought we would have given it a pass. All right, well, what's a good Dundee United away again, but 1-0 again, this time being Deutsche. I remember it was quite late in the game, if I'm not mistaken, and we were going daft. That was just a terrible game of football.
Yeah. Sky that.
Favourite podcasts, again, going to try and keep them varied, so ones you won't pick. I'll steal one that you'll pick, but Jake Doyle Hayes, that was really fun. I thought he was just a nice bloke. Viva La Quinta Brigada, great song, great recommendation. It's currently top of my on repeat as per usual. Sorry to be corny, I don't mean to make him cringe, but I thought the first episode Liam was on was incredibly funny. The three of us got absolutely shot down on multiple occasions, and he was not taking any prisoners. And then I remember messaging in the group chat, I was like, here, we should consider having him on as a fourth guest. And before I could follow up by saying we should ask him at the end of the season, you said, he's confirmed he's going to be our fourth guest, like our fourth host. I was like, well, that's great, superb. And then finally, it happened one time, and I'm sure it will happen again. But Specky and Spicy, I thought was a fine episode.
Still going on about that.
Yeah, I thought that was a more structured, or most to the point, and I thought the host that day was incredibly handsome. So for that reason alone, yeah, Specky and Spicy.
I'm gonna go now, and I'm going to go for what was our third episode. And it was called Perseverance in Perth after Stevie Mallon's last, or at least late on, penalty. And the reason I'm picking that is it was the first one that me, Harry, and Greg recorded together. And when I say recorded together, what it revolved around was Harry and Greg bringing a shed ton of snacks, mainly reduced items from Sainsbury's garage at the top of Greg's street. And the three of us sitting around my laptop talking into it and having to pause and start and cut it up about 25 times because Greg would be mid-flow and then just go, fuck, that was shite, I'm blabbing. So it took us, what was an hour-long podcast, took us about 2.5 hours to record that night. My second one has got to be, I really, really enjoyed chatting with Matty Jack. I thought that was really good. I want to say that was potentially our first, at least ex-player. We'd had Cliff on already. And then my top episode would have to be, I really enjoyed chatting with Ben Kensel actually and Ian Gordon just the other week. I thought that was a really good one, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing that.
Very informative.
Yeah. Top 3 games. I'm going to go for one that was in the lockdown, and that's for a weird one. Probably when we won 2-1 up at Ross County. It was the first time last season, maybe the only time when we came from behind to win, and it was what felt like, probably wasn't the only time, or at least the first time last season, that I had scored and I jumped off the sofa as if I was at Easter Road. Like when Nisbet, I think, made it 2-1, it was the first one that really got me going like that. Felt like a really big goal. And then, yeah, look, the Rangers semi-final was a fantastic day out with you guys. It was the first time we'd run a bus together. was a great day out. Hopefully we get the chance to do it over and over and over again with the same result, to be honest. I think walking to the ground, we were all making outlandish predictions, and I'm sure someone probably predicted we'd be free up inside half an hour and did not mean it. But no, that was a really good day. And then the favourite game for me has to be Motherwell away. It has to be. First game back in the stands. Really good day. Just being back at this. I know we'd had the European games and just had pre-season and stuff, but obviously being at Fir Park, there was no restrictions on the away end, and it was fantastic. A real good day out. What about yourself, Greg?
Top 3 games. First one's definitely that Rangers semi-final. Me and Harry were standing beside each other. That was just a class day all round. My second favourite game was the first game against Santa Coloma. First time back at Easter Road, sunny night. Went with my granddad. That was good. Third favourite game, probably when we secured Europe up at Aberdeen. Great goal to win it. Me and my mum were going daft in the living room watching it. So yeah, class night. The top 3 podcasts. The first one is definitely after the Rangers semi. That was some laugh. Second one would have to be the first podcast we recorded. Although the sound quality was pretty bad. And the content was even worse.
And Harry's only just got up to speed with the sound quality the last couple of weeks.
I think it was Liam said he doesn't sound like he's speaking to a Pringles tube. So, Harry's dragged himself up to modern times. And probably the third favourite. That's a difficult one. Probably the start of this season when we set out our predictions for the full season. At that point, I was absolutely buzzing for the new season. Predicted Kyle McGuinness should be Player of the Year, and he probably would be if he wasn't made of chocolate. So yeah,
Liam,
that's that.
Fucking hell, this segment's gone on for a long time. I'm just going to do the 3 games because we'll be here all night. So I think first game, I'll just take the Dundee United semi-final for last season. So winning 2-1, getting into a final, thinking we had a wonderful chance to win the final, and it was all amazing while it lasted. Happy times. Second game, Santa Coloma probably in Europe. I think just more because of the fact it was first game back. The sun was shining. Quite a few pre-match pints were squeezed in before a 7:45 kickoff. Just everything about it was class. Just a great advert for summer football. And then final game, I want to say something really a bit like different and thinking out the box a wee bit, but I'm kind of struggling with this one a wee bit. I think for me, just that early season sort of hype at the beginning of the season where I thought maybe after we'd been unbeaten for like whatever it was, 7 or 8 games this season, like things were all rosy and things were good. I thought we were in a chance. So maybe recording and just being in and amongst it after that draw at Tynecastle, because things started to kind of go south after that point. So that's what I'll say for the favourite games.
If we could talk about moments, going 1-0 up at Ibrox, we're sitting top of the league. I was fucking buzzing. Like that when we went 1-0 up and between kickoff and Ryan Porteous's red card, that's a highlight of the last however long it's been since last August 2020 when we started. But surely a moment for everyone on this chat doesn't get any better than the 10 seconds that we were in the lead of the League Cup final, surely.
Good 10 seconds.
Aye.
I don't think
we were
it's
still
even registered
celebrating
yet.
when Celtic scored.
Look, what are you going to say, mate?
I was just going to say, I think at that point when we were in the lead, I was still trying to pick my brother up from in between the seats by the time I realised that Celtic had scored. I looked up and they were celebrating.
Nightmare.
Oh.
Right then. I think that is just about us on the 100th episode of Down the Slope. We've looked back on what we've done on the podcast, how Hibs have been, in the last season and a half. There's 9 games left this season. No, eight games left this season in the league anyway. Hopefully a few cup games in there. We might squeeze in a Motherwell preview later in the week. We're all a bit all over the place. Like Liam said, he's moving house. Greg's got his football boots back on, so he's got training this week. And well, me and Harry sometimes we just can't be arsed. But what something to keep your eyes out for. We're branching out potentially in the next wee while. When the first episode will be out, we don't know, but we will be having a sort of second show. It will still fall under the Down the Slope umbrella, and we'll be talking about all things football, all things Scottish football, but it won't be every week. It'll be once a month, and we'll be sort of trying to have our say on issues in the game. So don't worry, we'll not be boring you with Motherwell v St Mirren reviews. We bore you enough with Hibs v Motherwell reviews. It'll be a totally different show to what we put out on a Monday night, and that'll probably be once a month, and we'll be trying to get as many guests on as possible, so you're not just listening to us non-stop. But thank you very much for listening tonight and to the previous 99 episodes, and here's to another 100 episodes, and come on the fucking Hibs. Cheers.
Yes,
God bless.